Well, good morning. Dr. Glen here with another Monday morning motivation. So this morning I thought I would ask a very simple question, but it's a question that most people don't spend too much time thinking about, and that's, what does your spine do for you? You know, if I was asking what your nose did or what your hand does, people would have very clear answers for that, but it's always interesting what I hear back when I ask people what their spine does for them. I hear answers like, well, it's what allows me to move through the day, what allows me to keep an upright posture, it's what my arms or other muscles or organs attached to, allows me to bend and twist and move through the day. And you know, all those are great answers. It certainly does all of that for us, but the most important job of our spine is to protect the nervous system. It's very protective in function. You see, the nervous system is the most important system in the body. It controls every other system that we have, so it needs really good protection. Now, if we split that nervous system apart, we'll start with the brain. Brain is by far the most important part. It's like the control center for the nervous system. And because of that, it gets that hard, bony skull wrapped around it. And the skull doesn't do too much more for us other than protects the brain. There's no real movable joints in there. And the reason for that is it just wants to protect that vitally important brain. Now, as the brain comes down into the rest of the body, it turns into the spinal cord. And again, very, very important. So the body still wants to protect it, and it does that through the spine. Now, unlike the skull, the spine is actually made up of 25 distinct bones of vertebrae, and they all have joints between them. And this is fantastic because this allows us now to bend and twist and turn and actually move around in our environment while still protecting the nervous system. But here's the problem, is that as soon as we have joints, we can have injury. And with injury becomes degeneration, and we can have these insults and injuries to this very, very important structure in our body because it's protecting and directly tied to the nervous system. Now, even more damaging than that is the fact, I think, that we can't see the spine. You see, if your teeth are degenerating and browning and just absolutely looking terrible because we're not taking care of them, we do something about it because they're right there. It's part of our hygiene. Unfortunately, your spine can be rotting away inside of us, and we just don't know it. And we don't look at it, we can't see it, so we're not aware of what's happening with our spine. So here's the question I have for you is, one, how do you know how healthy your spine is, and what do you do to keep your spine healthy? I brush my teeth 3 times a day. I floss every single day to keep my teeth healthy, and they could completely rot out of my head. My dentist wouldn't be happy, but I could go get a pair of dentures and I'd be right back into things. If your spine starts to rot out, we don't have the same kind of solutions for you. So it's very, very important that we keep our spine healthy, but how do we do that? And that's what I want to get into over the next couple videos that we do. You know, yesterday was World Spine Day, and it's the job of all chiropractors across the country to really start educating people and make sure that they understand how vitally important it is to keep our spine healthy. There's things like nutritional impacts that can impact our spinal health. Definitely movement, stress, and emotional is never given enough credit in terms of its effect on our spine and spinal hygiene. So for this week, what I want you to do is just start thinking about, what do I do each day to actually make sure that I'm keeping a healthy spine, and how do I know if my spine is healthy or not? I want you to think about that for this week, and next week we're going to come back with some very specific tips and tricks to make sure that, one, you're keeping your spine healthy, and secondly, to make sure you know how to know if your spine is healthy or not. Have a wonderful week contemplating those thoughts, and I'll see you next Monday morning.